Hey everyone, this is Lien and welcome back to the Rachelle Anne Miller YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a birthday card using this amazingly cute digital stamp called Birthday Girl, and I am letting myself be inspired by the Pantone Colors of 2021, which are yellows and grays. Um, the colors that I'm using are not exactly those, but that was definitely the input that I had when I started coloring. Now, for the ones who are new to this YouTube channel, there are some adorable digital stamps featured here. And well, I am Lien. I use Translucite Perfect coloring paper, which is an amazing paper when you want to do some coloring with Copics or just other alcohol markers. Um, I printed this image using a inkjet printer. Sorry, an inkjet printer. Um, it works. It's one that I have for digital stamps. With laser printers, you have apparently more possibilities, but I haven't tried it out yet because I currently don't have one. So I cannot talk about that. But they are normally even handier if you want to do some watercoloring. However, some inkjet printers are also perfect for watercoloring. I heard, I never tried it. I currently am in a phase where I love Copic coloring, so that's what I'm doing, and these images are so adorable that I am honored to be featuring some cards here and to have you following along. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, then definitely do so, because on this YouTube channel there are also sneak peeks towards new products that will be released even before the day they are coming out. So you get some sneak peeks here, and then just maybe some tips for coloring. I don't know, I'm not an expert, but I love doing it and I'm just doing what feels right. Now, as you probably saw, I am one of those people that start with my darkest color and work towards my lightest color, and then I go back in. Now, with this paper, I personally find 2 layers to help me with the blend. So I need at least 2, maybe more. Sometimes it depends on the color family that I'm using, but this paper can handle quite a lot of alcohol markers. So if you need to add lots of layers, don't be worried about bleeding. So far, and I think I'm coloring on this paper nearly a year, I haven't experienced that yet. So I think it's a lovely paper. Then about the coloring, as I said, I start from darkest to lightest and I go back and forth. But if you're preferring coloring starting with a light area first, just a base coat of your lightest marker, then it's perfectly fine. The whole purpose about the coloring is to have fun, to have the end result that you like. And as long as you get that, then you're doing the right thing. If not, then maybe you should try another method, but there are many ways to copy color or color with alcohol markers in general, so just do whatever feels right. Now for the hair, the images of Rachelle Anne Miller, they are really handy to color hair like I'm doing today, with sort of a flicking, and that you have those lighter highlights in the hair and stuff. Why? Because the image has extra lines in the hair, and personally I find that these are guidelines. So I try to follow the flow of the hair that is drawn into the hair specifically as details, as well as just following the edges of the hair. If you have some guidelines, as I call them, those extra lines already drawn in by the illustrator like here, for me personally it's a must to be able to color like this. And if you like it, then I definitely recommend Rachelle Anne Miller, because all her images have those extra details, those extra guidelines for the hair. Now, as you also might see, is that I try to reuse some color combinations. In the description box there will be all the color combinations listed. Just easy for you, you can always rewatch. but if you just want to have a quick overview of the colors used for each part of the image, I'm trying to list them as easy as possible in the description box. So that's handy, and there is of course also a blog post if you want to check that out for more details, and a link towards this specific digital stamp, which I truly love, but I think I already said that, but it's so adorable. I love it. So here are already a few of those yellow details, and then the balloon will also be yellow. And that's how I'm actually trying to use those Pantone colors that I said earlier. I have tried it once already and I was so amazed. So I tried it again, and I still love the combination. I would never pick it yellow and grays, but it's stunning. It's powerful and I love it. So onto the balloon, also trying to have my shadows the same area like I did on the dress. All the dark colors are on the right side, and then I'm just blending my way towards the lightest color. And as you see, and probably you also think the same as me, the first coat is really rubbish, and once there is a second layer, it really starts to come together all. Another thing about how I use digital stamps, I personally, with the Rachelle Anne Miller Designs, love those swirly lines that are popping outside of the hair and outside of here the socks and all those things. I think those are adorable. I am not a really good fussy cutter, and I don't have a machine where I like the quality of, so I prefer having one layer cards when I'm using the digital stamps, so that I can have all those cute details coming through. So when I print my image on top of my Translucite Perfect coloring paper, I also print exactly the same image onto some masking paper. Now there are several masking papers you can use. Today I'm using the Inkadinkado masking paper, and I just fussy cut it out before I start with my card, so that when I want to continue with the background, I can use that mask, and that will help me to easily protect my images without having to fussy cut them. So to get my panel for my card, I used some basic rectangles from my elephant. These have those stitching details, and I personally really love that. I am going to protect them, those stitching details on the edges, by using some purple tape. And I already took some distress inks that I want to use for the background. Now I must admit, I first took the Hickory Smoke as my gray, but you will see later on that it didn't match at all with the dress, so I decided to just use a really soft version of the black soot to fix that. But you will see that soon. I'm going to add some clouds on the background, again using those gray and yellow colors. So the stencil that I'm using today is a cloudy stencil. It's from Lien. Many brands have stencils, definitely cloudy ones, and I love them all. So today I'm using the one from Lien, but if you have another stencil with clouds, then you can definitely use that if you want to make a similar card. Now I'm removing the backings from my masks. As I said before, this is the Inkadinkado stamping mask paper, but any masking paper will work. And I'm just making sure to add it straight on my image. If needed, I can lift it a bit and wiggle it into place, and then I can start on my background. Also, if you do a really soft background, you can often reuse your mask, so just keep a piece of acetate or anything like that on the side, and then you can add it if your mask isn't oversaturated, for example. And then you can reuse it next time. You don't have to fussy cut anything. I think that's amazing. So that can be handy. I'm starting with my lightest colors. Normally I do my stenciling from the bottom towards the top, but anyway goes. So today, to prevent having to use a lot of blending brushes, I started with my lightest color, being the squeezed lemonade. So I wanted my sky to have more yellow than gray because, well, there is of course the fear that the gray will make it a bit a sad card, which is not necessarily the case, but I wanted to just have the gray and black to be less prominent on the background. So I started really soft. I wanted to build up that color as well, and then I will finish off with the black soot. I'm twisting and turning my stencil until I'm happy. And then I decided to see whether the grays fitted. And as I already said, it wasn't the case at all. So we're fixing that. But because I wasn't sure, I only lifted a small part of my mask to check. So I already saw on the foot, because I used gray on the shoe as well, that it didn't match. And here I'm just making sure that I'm tapping off the excess ink so that I can create some sort of a gray look with the black suit. Depending on the pressure or the amount of ink on your brush, you can have some really soft colors or some really dark ones. So fix that. Now I can remove the mask. Well, masks, there are many. And I just love the reveal, so that's why I keep it in the video. You can skip it if you want to, but I personally think revealing masks and peeling off purple tape and stuff, it's so satisfying. Because actually while you're ink blending, you have no clue whether it's working or not, and you will only know it at the end. So that's the image with the background. I just love it. I hope you do too. Peeling off the purple tape, and then I have to add a sentiment still. I have to add this to a card base and add some details. For today's sentiment, I'm using the Congrats script from Pretty Pink Posh, and I cut it out of some Buttercup cardstock from Concord and Ninth. I love this yellow, and I just thought having that yellow contrasting with the gray on the bottom of my card would refer again to the yellow on the top in the balloon, and all the colors are returning every time again and again, and I really like that. So I'm making sure that I'm poking out all those extras, and then I will add it using some liquid glue on the bottom of this panel. Now it's always handy if you have a T-square ruler or another ruler to help you. I really want this straight, so I'm adding a coat of liquid glue first, and then I will add it to my panel. And once everything is straight, I can press it down, also adding that dot for the exclamation. And then I am going to add this panel on top of a card base, just using some Grit adhesive roller. Any adhesive roller can do, or even if you want to, you can always use some foam tape, keeping it simple, just adding it flat onto that card base. And then I'm going to finish this card by adding some glossy accents. I'm doing that on top of the balloon. I cannot help myself. Whenever I see a balloon, I use glossy accents. If I don't, I forgot. But normally, I always add it to balloons. I think it's a lovely detail. And well, even with this huge balloon, I love it. So that being said, once this is done, this card is completely finished. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and of course that you like the end result. If you do, you can always give this one a thumbs up. As I said before, don't forget to subscribe, then you never miss anything. I want to thank you all for stopping by, taking the time to watch this video. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will be back soon with some new crafty inspiration. Bye!